In recent years, headlines around the world have focused on one troubling issue: cartel violence in Mexico. From deadly clashes between rival criminal groups to large-scale security operations by the government, the situation continues to shape Mexico's political, economic, and social landscape. But what is really happening? Who are the major groups involved? Why has the violence continued for so many years? And what does it mean for the future of Mexico and its relationship with the United States? In today's in-depth report, we break down the history, the causes, the key players, and the real impact of cartel violence across Mexico. How it started. To understand the current crisis, we must go back decades. Drug trafficking organizations in Mexico began expanding in the 1980s and 1990s. At the time, Colombia was the main supplier of cocaine to the United States. Mexican criminal groups initially acted as transporters. But over time, Mexican organizations gained more power and control. When Colombian cartels weakened, Mexican groups took over distribution networks. In 2006, then-President Felipe Calderón launched a large-scale military operation against drug cartels. Soldiers were deployed across the country. While the goal was to dismantle powerful criminal groups, it led to violent confrontations and fragmentation of cartels into smaller, more aggressive factions. This marked the beginning of what many analysts call Mexico's modern drug war. The major cartels. Several major criminal organizations dominate the current landscape. One Sinaloa Cartel. Based in the state of Sinaloa, this cartel is considered one of the oldest and most powerful. It operates international trafficking networks and has historically maintained influence across multiple regions. Two Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. Originating in Jalisco, CJNG has rapidly expanded over the past decade. It is known for its aggressive tactics and territorial expansion. A Three Gulf Cartel, one of the older criminal groups, primarily active near the northeastern border areas, especially in Tamaulipas. These organizations compete for control of trafficking routes, local markets, and border crossings. Why the violence continues. There are several key reasons. Control of drug routes. Mexico is a major transit country for drugs entering the United States. Control of border crossings means enormous financial power. Fragmentation. When leaders are arrested, groups often split into rival factions. Smaller groups can become more violent as they fight for dominance. Local corruption. In some areas, limited institutional strength and corruption have allowed criminal networks to expand. Expansion into other crimes. Cartels are not only involved in drug trafficking, they also profit from fuel theft, human smuggling, illegal mining, extortion of local businesses. Regions most affected. Certain states have experienced higher levels of violence. Michoacán, known for cartel disputes and self-defense groups. Guerrero, affected by organized crime and trafficking routes. Chihuahua, border region challenges. Baja California. Strategic border location. Border cities are particularly sensitive because of their economic and logistical importance. Government response. The Mexican government has used multiple strategies over the years: military deployment, creation of the National Guard, high-profile arrests of cartel leaders, financial investigations, social programs aimed at addressing root causes. Despite these efforts, violence has remained a serious challenge. Different administrations have adopted different strategies, from aggressive crackdowns to approaches focused on social reform. Impact on civilians. The human cost has been significant. Communities in affected regions often face business closures due to extortion, internal displacement, fear and insecurity, economic slowdown. However, it is important to note that Mexico is a large and diverse country. Many tourist areas and major cities continue to function normally and remain important global destinations. International dimension. Cartel violence is not only a Mexican issue. It affects U.S.-Mexico trade, migration patterns, border security, international drug policy. Both governments have worked together on intelligence sharing and law enforcement cooperation. The issue remains complex because demand for drugs in the United States continues to drive supply networks. Conclusion: cartel violence in Mexico is a deeply rooted and multifaceted issue. It involves economics, politics, organized crime, international demand, and social inequality. While security operations have weakened certain groups, new factions often emerge. Long-term solutions may require not only law enforcement efforts, but also economic development, institutional strengthening, and cross-border cooperation. The story is still unfolding, and its outcome will shape Mexico's future for years to come.